afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. Alyssa Corum and Ken Shreve with a look at today's market action. And on today's show, we saw tech picking back up, taking the reins once again. Ken, what are we going to be highlighting?
Well, it was really a good day for large cap technology stocks on the Nasdaq. So it makes sense to take a look at Apple, which is the newest leaderboard stock, showing really great action in its chart. And why not take a look at a couple of chemicals stocks that are setting up nicely? One reported earnings earlier this week. That's Nutrien, NTR, and also Element Solutions, ESI, which is setting up in a nice base here.
Yep, chemical stocks back on the radar. And first, let's take a look at the major indexes. Here we have the Nasdaq finishing up about 0.4% for the day, a nice reversal off of the 21-day line. We had the S&P up 0.3%, the Dow just slightly higher for the day. And on the downside, we had the Russell 2000 down about 0.25%. Walk us through the technical action today, Ken.
Well, like you said, just a good solid test so far of the 21-day exponential moving average. And we can maybe swing over to the weekly chart here. And you can see when the Nasdaq really broke out with conviction over that 1400 level, this is really it really just turned into a nice first test of the 10-week moving average. So this really does not look like an extended index at all. I think the market technicals continue to look pretty good here. There's been this rotation that we've been talking about. Sometimes, growth stocks are in favor, and then it goes back to industrial and cyclical stocks. Financial stocks have been leading, but I still think the Nasdaq looks pretty strong here, and it was nice to see a lot of large cap technology names outperforming today.
Right. And with those rotations that we are seeing, it seems like it's ever important to buy stocks at the right time, not chase, because if you buy at the right time and you start seeing stocks pull back, maybe it's some of those software names, if they're pulling back to logical levels, then that'll give you that much more mental capacity to feel like you can stay in there if you weren't buying those stocks at extended levels.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's way too early to give up on the growth stock trade. I think you have to respect the strength in cyclical stocks, especially some of your steel producers. The 10-year Treasury yield has started to strengthen, and that's helped a lot of these financial stocks. So yeah, I think technology is still a pretty interesting place. Software stocks were among the strongest performers on the Nasdaq. I mean, it wasn't just large cap technology stocks that did well on the Nasdaq today. We had a lot of stocks following through. Well, Unity Software is a NYSE listed stock, but a good technology name. Upstart followed through nicely after a strong earnings report yesterday. So I don't think the tech trade is dead, but if you're really heavily weighted in technology stocks, and some stocks that you have are starting to break key support levels, you want to pay attention to the chart action and trim where appropriate, and maybe even take some profits.
Right. Focus on the leaders, but diversifying that leadership can be key. Well, let's see what the setup for Apple offered today. We together as a team had drawn this trend line as the action for Apple started to tighten up after this breakout from a cup. We saw it pull back to the 21-day line, and today breaking a downtrend.
Yeah, and we took the opportunity to add this to Leaderboard. It's the newest Leaderboard stock in the model portfolio, and this is just great technical action here. Like you said, a breakout over a trend line gives us an early entry. We added this. When was it? 140, just under 148, 147 and change. But it's looks really good. It looks like it has its sights set on the 150 level, and if it can top 150. It would be a great opportunity to add to the position. We started with a smallish position, but was encouraged by the price action today, and breakout over 150 would give us an opportunity to increase the position.
Let's see if Apple can make that happen. And now let's take a look at ESI, Element Solutions, one of the chemical stocks that we'd like to highlight, breaking out over the 24 level as it continues to carve now the right side of this base.
Yeah, really good volume in the stock today. This is a specialty chemicals firm. You can see it's found in electronics, in circuit boards, things like that. But this was an early entry, in my opinion. You mentioned this breakout over the 24 level. Good volume behind the move. Technically, it's still in a base. So for those that took advantage of the stock's strength today and started a small position, similar to Apple, if this one can break out with volume over its recent high of 2470, that would be an opportunity to increase the position. So anytime we're increasing in a position in a stock, we're doing it when the stock is going up, not down. So want to take advantage of improving relative strength for ESI.
Right. And I think that this is a great example of some of the nuances that you can see with the lower resistance levels within a flat base. You don't necessarily need to wait for a breakout to new highs. If you see a logical resistance level, that'll give you a lower entry. And we saw that today with ESI.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it went up to 2407, it got turned away, and actually came all the way down close to the 22 level, and then it came up to 24 again, got turned away, and now it broke out over the 24 level. So, and there was some volume, some juice behind the move today. So I think it looks good. I think the price action is setting up for a possible breakout attempt from this flat base, and we'll see how it goes. But fundamentals still look pretty good on a lot of these chemical stocks.
Yeah, and look at what big moves that they've made since last fall, especially last November. We started really noticing them, and earlier this year, some of the star performers, came out of those groups. So with them building bases and now starting to get back to new highs, one more reason why they are on our radar. And same for Nutrien as well. A big move on its earnings report and closed flat today, but it's really holding the bulk of the gains from this big move on earnings, Ken, when it gained about 6.2% to retake the 50-day.
Yeah, I mean, it was really a bullish move above the 50-day moving average on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday it held on to the bulk of that game. Look at the volume; it just declined in very very light volume, just what you want to see. And even today, the stock was just trading slightly lower, but it was up near its high, so it looked like a very gentle pullback after a very bullish move on Tuesday, and that's really the ideal price action you want to see. As you can see, Nutrien actually reversed slightly higher, so this one is still showing strength and support. It's one of the leading fertilizer stocks at this point. We've been talking about the sort of the resurgence of some of these fertilizer names after pullbacks, but Nutrien looks good. And again, a nice earnings report on Tuesday fueled the initial move, but I would say the stock is still actionable here, and we're still kind of eyeing a breakout here from what we would call a cup base, and taking a look at that recent high of 65.93. So still in a good technical setup here.
Yep, another great chemical stock for the radar. Thank you, Ken, for all that fantastic analysis. And thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to join us tomorrow morning on IBD Live, where we will be joined by special guest John Najarian. He's been on the show quite a few times now, and always great to get his perspective, his energy, but also his take on stocks that are moving, experiencing a high option activity. So it's always good to hear from him. We hope you join us, everyone. Investors.com/IBD Live. Ken, it's going to be another great show. Every day is great, but looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, and John Najarian's a really sharp guy in the options market. He's looking at volume, just like we do. Volume is very important to him, and he wants to see unusual activity in the options market. So I'm sure we'll get some ideas from him tomorrow. But a sharp guy that's very very respected, and should be a great show.
Yeah, it should be fun. So join us, investors.com/IBD Live. It's interactive too. You can submit your questions, and you never know when we may be able to answer that on the show. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow.